Well, hello, this is Paul Feuerstein, editor-in-chief of Dentistry Today. And over the past lots of years, I've been lucky enough to travel around the country to many cities, the US, other places. And most of the time when I'm at a conference, who else is there but the headliner, usually who it's Mark Hyman, Dr. Mark Hyman. Mark, how are you today?
Dr. Paul, so good to see you, bud.
Just great to see you. So you can always find Mark because he's lecturing in the biggest room with the biggest crowd, making the most noise, and people are jumping up and down, going like this for some reason. You can explain that as we go along here. And he's had quite a dental adventure, and right now he's gone full circle with his life's adventure, and he's gone back to teach at his alma mater, UNC, University of North Carolina. By the way, go Tar Heels. I was told to say that, right?
Oh, baby.
When you were in practice, and as I'm in practice right now, there's a thing called the big lie that we've both talked about over the years. When your hygienist says to the patient, "So, have you been flossing?" And the big lie is
religiously, Easter and Christmas.
Yeah.
Do you floss? Not as much as I should.
Yeah. And then the ones who claim to floss say, "Yes, they I mean, when we learn and teach flossing, I don't think people follow it. Go around this way, go around this way, go up into proximally, do this. Do they follow the rules, even if they're flossing? Some do. I have to say some do, but the majority, forget about it. And part of the problem is this here. So if it takes a certain amount of time to, first of all, find this thing, tear off the right piece, get it the right length, snap it off, whip it around your fingers and make sure it doesn't fall off, stick it up in your mouth and get it to the first place. And be careful that you don't knock out all your old crowns and inlays too, or fillings. So there's a lot of people say, yeah, I do it. And they have little devices, little tools, these little holders and things like that. But there's also been a whole world of sort of water-based flossers. They spray in between the teeth and do certain things. And let me just jump the gun. Philips, the Sonicare people, have come up with a cordless power flosser, and I happen to have it in my hands here. I just got a chance to use this thing. Now let's see how long it takes me to set this thing up. I go into the bathroom, I look at this little piece here, I pop this open, put it under the faucet, close it like that, put it in my hand like here. I pick the tip that I want to talk about, that we'll talk about in a few minutes, stick it on there, and I'm on.
Paul, the Philips Sonicare Cordless Power Flosser, it has just been one of the coolest innovations in dentistry as far as I'm concerned. As you were so eloquently sharing, people mean well, and they say they want a flosser, they're going to try, or they'll get to it, and they just don't. Statistically, we work so hard to do high-end cosmetic and restorative reconstructive dentistry. If it's not maintained, it's not going to last. And they've really given patients an opportunity to succeed in deplaquing their mouth and maintaining their restorations and their dental health.
So you mentioned the little tip. So usually the typical tip is a little pointy tip that shoots in between, but I'm holding in my hand here. It's hard to see. This is called the quad stream.
The quad stream technology is unique and really cool. You get 4 waves of water coming out, 4 sheets of water that blast your teeth. And why is this so effective? You remove 99.9% of the plaque because you've got the 4 water jets, 4 water streams blasting off the plaque. So even if the patient doesn't have it exactly in the right area, you're going to be pretty effective and efficient.
It's sort of when you look at the slow motion, it's like a little X.
Exactly. So the cross is X marks the spot. It's the quad, 4 streams. And it's really a lot of thought, a lot of research has gone into this. A lot of people in dentistry over our careers have made big promises, and this actually delivers. So this is really cool.
I mean, they have, and one thing that Philips has done very nicely is they don't just put something out. This is they have some papers. You can get access to these on the website. I mean, it goes through this versus manual versus other water flossers for this, and it's real hard data. I mean, it talks about gingival indexes and bleeding indexes and things like that. So they don't just throw this out and say, here's a new toy to play with,
So the cordless power flosser has 2 modes, Paul. It's got a regular clean and a deep clean, and it has 3 intensity settings. So this is a great entree, a great introduction into the power flossing like this. And if you want a more sophisticated model, you can do the plug-in version,
Right.
which has
Oh,
many
all
more
sorts of
settings
styles.
and many more modes to clean. So you can really customize it for what you want. Paul, unfortunately, number 19, the lower left 6-year molar, I had internal resorption and lost a freaking tooth. And I have a dental implant, and I never felt like I
Oh,
got it clean. And I floss it multiple times a day, and I brush it left and right and
yep.
Sonicare it, and it does great. But I never really felt like I got it clean till I started using the Power Flosser. And now I really feel like I'm getting around subgingivally and getting the schmutzy out there.
No, we've all seen this. You've seen peri-implantitis around the implants because they're not being cleaned. They also get recurrent decay on the adjacent teeth because people aren't getting in there, even if they're using little proxy brushes and things. It's not good. There's one other thing that I want you to explain to me. There's what they call pulse wave. When this is going on, it's pulse wave. I can feel it pulsing, and it's sort of directing me a little bit. What's that all about?
One of the coolest things for a non-dental person, we in our mind know what we're supposed to do in dentistry, but for the patient who doesn't think about teeth 24/7, how do you use it? It's got to be ergonomic. The Power Flosser itself is the same. It feels like the same material as your Sonicare does, so it's familiar to the patient. It's sculpted in an ergonomic way, so it's easy to hold. So if you figure people have 32 teeth, most don't have their wisdom teeth. If you've got 28 buccal and 28 lingual interproximal areas roughly to attack, the reservoir in the cordless version will last 60 seconds, then you can refill it. Or if you blast each proximal for a second, you've done your work. You know, we talk to our patients, Paul, about we use your Sonicare and fluoride and floss and Power Flosser. You're going to have healthier patients. It's easy to use with the pulse wave technology. This is a cool innovation. It's really designed for success.
In your motivational speaking, you motivate us as the dentists, dental assistants, dental hygienists, dental staff. How do you motivate the patient to use any of these things? I mean,
I love that. You know, people have said to me, Dr. Mark, you're our motivational speaker today. And I'm like, the men and women in dentistry don't need motivation. Are you kidding me? But what they mainly need is liberation. And that's what I want to do, is help liberate people from limiting beliefs.
We do a lot of restorations, whether they're implants and crowns and bridges, and especially bridge work. You have to use something like this to clean underneath it efficiently. I don't care how much superfloss you use and all these other things, you can do it. It's time consuming. This is no time at all. It just goes through it, does the whole thing.
Give me 1 minute twice a day with this Power Flosser, and you don't have to futz with the string floss. You're going to be 100%, 50% more effective. Close to 100% of the plaque is removed. Paul, what do we have in dentistry that's 100% effective? You got 99.9% of the plaque removed.
Nothing like this.
And it's just, and the thing is, the price point, it's a couple pennies a day over a year's time.
Not even.
It's not real money. So my suggestion is people ought to go online and check it out, watch the video, read the science behind it if you're interested in that. I'd love people to buy a dozen of these and just give them out to the next dozen patients you're doing scaling root planing. Add $100 to your scaling root planing or your implant fee, or $50. Give them the dang Power Flosser.
But even when you're doing, if you're doing a large restorative case, especially with implants, I mean, give it to the patient.
It's such a value added. I had the privilege, Paul, when I left private practice, I had over 1,200 5-star reviews. How do you get that many 5-star reviews? You earn them.
Yeah.
By surprising people, by meeting them where they are, not lecturing them, and showing them cool innovations in dentistry.
I think we also have to educate the dentists on this, and the dental hygienists about this, and the assistants, so they can be our advocates too, and saying, use this thing. It's real easy to use. It's going to keep you out. And I always use this term to my patients: say, the more you do, the less I do. And I think that's a good mantra to run along with something like this. So I don't want to kill this too much, because I think we've given the basics to everybody. I think there's an understanding of what's going on. Go to the website, watch the videos, talk to your reps. There are reps that'll come to your office, I'm sure. And let's call it let's call it a day, Mark.
Paul, it's a joy to see you. Bottom line, this is thorough, it's gentle, it's very affordable, it's ergonomic, it's easy to use. So just try it and see what you think. And I think everyone will be thrilled by this amazing innovation in dentistry. It's great seeing you, Paul.
You too. I'll see you again in a few weeks.